Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
It is official, a 20-time former WWE champion returned to confront and take out Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber 2025. This was in the aftermath of the brutal, unsanctioned match against Sami Zayn that KO won. The bout was just as brutal as anybody expected it would be, with Kevin Owens going on to destroy Sami Zayn. While Sami fought back valiantly, it wasn't enough to get the job done, and KO mercilessly took him out despite the pleading of several major backstage names like Petey Williams and Jason Jordan, until Randy Orton made his much-awaited return. As KO was in the ring after the match, it was none other than the Viper who came to save the day after returning for the first time in several months since being taken out by Kevin Owens. His successful comeback from injury resulted in him hitting several RKOs to the prizefighter. The 20-time former champion would then take a steel chair in a resemblance to his old, vicious self. However, he threw away the chair with a more sinister idea in mind to use the infamously banned punt. As Orton went for the punt, producers stopped him and shielded Owens from taking the banned move. The crowd was audibly furious at the producers for doing this. Whether the incidents during the PLE today lead to a WrestleMania 41 clash between the two former friends will be interesting to see. The WWE Universe had been on fire for weeks leading up to Elimination Chamber 2025. With WrestleMania 41 on the horizon, the stakes were at an all-time high. 6 of WWE's best were locked inside the unforgiving structure, battling for a chance at the World Heavyweight Championship. Kevin Owens, a man known for his resilience and ability to thrive in brutal matches, had entered the chamber as one of the favorites. He had promised to walk out as the #1 contender, setting up a dream match for the biggest stage of them all. What he didn't expect, however, was that his night would end in chaos, courtesy of a returning 20-time champion hell-bent on destruction. The chamber begins. The match kicked off with Seth Rollins and LA Knight, both men bringing their signature intensity to the battle. The WWE Universe was electric, knowing that the structure itself had created legends, and destroyed them just as easily. As the countdown clock hit 0, the third pod opened, unleashing Drew McIntyre into the match. The Scottish Warrior wasted no time laying waste to Rollins and Knight, sending a clear message that he intended to main event WrestleMania. Moments later, Kevin Owens entered the fray. With bruises already forming from the hard-hitting action, Owens found himself immediately targeted by McIntyre. The two brawled viciously, with Owens ultimately gaining the upper hand after sending McIntyre crashing into a pod with a pop-up powerbomb. As the chamber continued, the WWE Universe erupted as Cody Rhodes made his entrance, followed by the final competitor, Sami Zayn. With all 6 men in the match, the chaos reached its peak. Rollins was bleeding, Knight was barely standing, and McIntyre had been temporarily neutralized after going through the pod glass. Kevin Owens' rise, and a shocking betrayal. Despite the brutality of the match, Kevin Owens had managed to claw his way toward a potential victory. He eliminated LA Knight with a stunner, then went to war with Cody Rhodes in a stunning back-and-forth sequence. When Owens finally nailed Rhodes with a devastating package piledriver onto the steel grating, it seemed like nothing could stop him. That was until the lights suddenly flickered. Confusion spread across the arena. This wasn't part of the match. The WWE Universe gasped as the Titantron flickered to life, showing distorted imagery and cryptic messages. Then, a theme song hit, one that hadn't been heard in months. The crowd erupted as Randy Orton stepped onto the stage. The Viper strikes. Orton, a 20-time WWE champion and a future Hall of Famer, had been out of action for months due to a severe back injury. Many had speculated that his career was over. But there he was, walking down the ramp, his eyes locked onto Kevin Owens. Owens, still inside the chamber, looked as shocked as anyone. He turned to the referees outside, yelling, "He's not supposed to be here." But Orton wasn't waiting for permission. With a sickening smirk, Orton unlatched the chamber door, revealing that someone had unlocked it from the outside. As the referees frantically protested, Orton slid into the ring, his movements slow, methodical, predatory. Before Owens could react, Orton struck with an RKO out of nowhere. The impact was brutal. Owens' head bounced off the mat, his body going limp. The WWE Universe erupted into a mix of shock and elation as Orton knelt beside his fallen prey, his signature sadistic grin creeping across his face. The officials tried to intervene, but Orton shoved them aside. He picked up Owens again, hitting a second RKO, this time onto the unforgiving steel grating outside the ring. Cody Rhodes, bloodied but still standing, turned to face Orton, but the Viper simply stared him down before backing away, his mission complete. Owens eliminated, Orton's message sent. With Owens completely motionless, Sami Zayn hesitated for a moment before reluctantly covering his fallen friend. The referee hesitated but ultimately had no choice. Kevin Owens had been eliminated. Boos rang out across the arena, mixed with deafening chants of "Randy! Randy!" The Viper had made his return in the most devastating fashion possible. As WWE officials tried to usher Orton out of the chamber, he raised his hands, feigning innocence. But then, with lightning-fast speed, he turned and hit one final RKO on a helpless Owens, right onto the steel steps near the chamber entrance. The message was clear: Randy Orton was back, and Kevin Owens was his first target. The aftermath: why Orton targeted Owens. As the dust settled and Elimination Chamber 2025 came to a dramatic close, WWE cameras caught up with Orton backstage. He stood in a dimly lit hallway, his trademark smirk still plastered on his face. When asked why he attacked Kevin Owens, Orton chuckled. "You really don't get it, do you?" he said, shaking his head. While I was recovering from a career-threatening injury, I sat back and watched guys like Kevin Owens act like they run this place. He's loud, he's brash, and worst of all, he thought he was untouchable." Orton's eyes darkened. "But I'm back." And Owens just found out firsthand that the Viper doesn't forget. With that, Orton walked off, leaving behind more questions than answers. Setting up WrestleMania 41, Orton vs. Owens? In the following weeks, Kevin Owens was medically evaluated, with WWE reporting that he had suffered a mild concussion and neck strain due to Orton's repeated RKOs. But despite the injuries, Owens refused to stay silent. On the next episode of Monday Night Raw, Owens cut an emotional, rage-fueled promo. "You want to make a name for yourself at my expense, Randy? You think you can walk in after months and just RKO your way back into the spotlight? Nah, man. I'm not going to let that slide," Owens growled, his fists clenched. "I don't care what I have to do, I'm coming for you, Orton. And I swear, you'll regret ever stepping back in my ring." The WWE Universe exploded, sensing what was coming. Kevin Owens vs. Randy Orton, WrestleMania 41 was about to get personal.